Okay, today I'm on the opposite side of the garage where the cars park, and I'm looking at putting some ditch lights on my Bronco. When I ordered it with upfitter switches, so it's all set up for them, all wired into the underneath the hood. The hookups will be simple. I planned, like I said, from when I ordered it to add lights. I just never got around to it. Now it's almost 3 years later, I'm getting around to it. It has accessory attachment points here, which make it easy. And I looked into lights, names like, KC lights or, any of the names you're familiar with. It's like $350 or more for a pair of lights. And I decided I'd give these Harbor Freight ditch lights, they're these, well, they don't call them ditch lights, but 3-inch lights, a shot. Harbor Freight's picked up their game in several areas, the winches for one thing. So hopefully these Road Shock 3-inch lights will be worth it. Maybe they aren't, I don't know, but the difference is these are $89 and the name brand ones are, like I said, $300 to $400. So I'll give these a shot. Anyway, I could have designed, so I could bolt it directly to these attachment points, but I just don't like it being so close to the antenna, especially if these things are noisy, which they might be. Chinese electronics. Well, all electronics are Chinese these days, but you know what I mean. Inexpensive lights could be noisy. So I kind of want them out here, and I don't want them to face forward. I want them to face the ditches on the side of the road, so, crazy suicidal deer can be detected. So I need a bracket there's 2 attachment points here. I need a bracket to set it out here. So I came up with this, which is simply a square with rounded corners and 3 holes in it. So these 2 will attach to the Bronco. This one will be a stud for the light to attach to. I'm gonna make a stud by using a 3/8" bolt, cutting the hex head off, and then welding it from the back, grind it smooth. And then it can sit flat here and attach the light to it right about here, which is what I intend. That's what I wanted to do. So to draw this, I opened up Inkscape and I did my measurements. The bolts are 2 inches apart, and the base of the light is 3 inches, so I need 3 inches out here and 2 attachment points that don't fall underneath the bracket that comes with the light. So I drew this one out on Inkscape and printed it and cut it out. The cool thing is you can print out your Inkscape drawings on regular letter size paper or whatever size paper your printer handles, and it'll print it out actual size. And you can cut that out and try it out for your design, which is what I did here. And I found out that the holes aren't exactly 2 inches. They're just it's probably metric, but a little bit wider than that. So I adjusted my drawing. I haven't cut it out yet, but this will be my template or my proof that the drawing is good. And once I prove it with paper, it's cheaper than metal. Once I prove it with paper, I'll take the drawing and cut it on metal. And we'll go back to the Arcdroid side of the garage. But that's a project for today. So hopefully that'll be interesting, more interesting than a flower. All right, so here's the adjusted template cut out of just plain old printer paper, and hand tighten the screws through the holes. That seems to work. If I line up this hole with that, I like where that puts the lights, so I think this will be good to cut out of metal now. And that's what we'll do now. Okay, back to the usual side of the garage. I got a sheet of 10 gauge up here. I'm gonna cut the brackets out. I picked up a support from Harbor Freight for 25 bucks, a little roller support for these larger sheets, so I don't have to cut them down for my little work area. I can use a little bit larger sheet. So that's the only big change on this side, but I've got the drawing loaded up. I'll show you the settings. Forgive my jiggly hands. So there's our drawing loaded up, and there's the settings. Feed rate's 86. That's the big change because it's a thicker material than I've been using. And I'll put the cut 60, the prime weld cut 60 will be running at 40 amps. So put this back here and I'll get everything fired up and we'll cut it out. We'll cut one out and see how it looks and cut the other one out if it looks good. All right, so like I said, I got the cut 60 set up to 40 amps. Feed rate's 86 inches per minute. This is 10 gauge I'm cutting this out of, and we'll give it a shot, see what it does. Well, back to the garage of a low dollar, low experience, I guess, fabricator. But I got lazy or forgetful or whatever it may be and didn't check the consumables, and the cup was really screwed, so it needed to be replaced. So I replaced it, and then this video becomes another video about recovering your cut. So I'm going to use this piece of metal to cover the holes and run the program again so it doesn't get stuck in the hole. And then when it goes to cut the outside, I'll move the metal out and let it do the actual cut. So see if I'm coordinated enough to do all these things. So let you watch from a distance and then I'll bring you back in. So. See what happens when I do this. Well, it looks like our bracket got cut, so that's good. I might have to clean up that one hole where the stud's gonna go with the drill bit. We'll see. Okay, well that wasn't pretty, but I just hit it with the bench grinder real quick, knocked some of the slag off the dross, and I didn't even clean up any of the holes, and it's gonna work perfectly. So I'm gonna leave that and move on to the next one. All right, so the recovery, that'll work. Not ideal, pretty ugly stuff, but I think it'll work. And I'm set up to cut the second one because this isn't about an Arcdroid thing. This is about putting lights on the Bronco thing. So I'm gonna cut out the second one and hopefully we'll be done with that for today. lesson today is make sure your consumables are clean. Don't assume, just don't forget to check. So that's the key for me anyway. Ugly, what I intended, and the difference, I didn't check the consumables before starting. All right, in the interest of keeping all my digits attached to my hands, I'm going to use a bandsaw with this piece of wood. And what I want to do is cut the head of this bolt off and end up with a stud I can weld onto the bracket. So this is how I'm going to do it. Fingers still attached. Okay, so now I'm going to take the stud that I made and weld that onto the bracket. So using the nuts for spacers, slip this on here, and I'll get it welded on. I think that'll work. Now just do a little filling of the hole here. I don't think that's going anywhere, it's just holding the light on. Let that cool off and I'll grind it off, but let that cool off and get some paint on it and get it installed. One more to go. That's the hot one, in case you're wondering. And the second nut's just to keep it mostly horizontal, flat, whatever. All right. Here's my other glove. looks pretty good. Good enough for government work, as they say. All right, and that's it for the bracket fabrication. That'll sit on top of the Bronco. The light will sit on top of it. How you take a, what is it, 30-cent bolt and turn it into a stud. That'll work. So now the next step is for me to get those painted, and while the paint's drying, I will look at the wiring on the Bronco. I ran the wiring underneath the hood, the plugs from the lights themselves. I have the other side already installed, but these just barely dried enough to touch. And I'll show you how this is going to work. The Bronco comes with these handy dandy Bronco bolts, they call them, for your accessories. Get those started. And of course, this one and this one, two different size bolts, or two different size drivers. I'll just run them down real quick with this. Check them by hand. And then we'll set the light on there and get it tightened down. Tight. That'll work. Now, light's just hanging here by its wire. I'm sure the manufacturer will be happy about that. Then my 3/8 bolt and Nylox nut. Decided to hang out and get the wiring done. Pretty easy with the Harbor Freight wiring harness. Only thing I had to do was alter the switch leg to use the built-in upfitter switch wires that are underneath the hood. So it's not as complicated as it sounds, but anyway, so I wired it into that and got it going. So I'll turn them on real quick. They'll probably just mess up the camera, but just to prove that they're working. So that's that. My floodlights, ditch lights are installed with my Arcdroid created bracket. It's really solid, and once it gets dark, I'll take them out and try it. But I'm pretty happy with how that came out. If you enjoyed this or got anything out of it, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.